All right, let's dive right in. We're talking about two massive forces colliding today: the explosion of artificial intelligence and its unbelievable thirst for energy. As AI gets smarter and bigger, it needs more and more power. And that's where a new kind of nuclear energy is entering the conversation, in a big way: small modular reactors. Let's break down what this is all about. Okay, but before we get into the weeds, just the quick standard disclaimer. We're breaking down a pretty complex topic here, looking at the investment ideas from our source material. This is all for educational purposes, just to get you up to speed. It is absolutely not financial advice.
So, here's the game plan. First, we're going to wrap our heads around just how much energy AI actually needs. It's wild. Then, we'll look at these small modular reactors as a potential answer. We'll see who's in the race to build them, face some of the hard truths and risks involved, and then we'll walk through a possible playbook for navigating this whole new world.
First things first, we have to understand the scale of the problem we're trying to solve. You see, AI isn't just some software floating in the cloud. It runs on huge, physical, power-guzzling infrastructure. And it's creating an energy demand that is, frankly, unlike anything we have ever seen before. You know, this quote from some of the top minds in the industry really just nails it. The entire AI revolution, this multi-trillion-dollar transformation we're all watching, its growth, its speed, is being held back by one single thing: a bottleneck. And that bottleneck is access to steady, reliable power. And let's put a number on that bottleneck, a huge number. We are looking at a 300% increase in the electricity that data centers are going to need by 2035. Think about that. We have to triple the power supply for this one sector in just over a decade. Our power grids today, they just weren't built for that kind of hit. And check this out. This chart tells you everything you need to know about where the money is flowing. By 2025, we're projected to spend $580 billion on AI data centers. That's more money than we're spending to find new oil. The capital is literally moving from old world energy to the brand new factories of the digital age. Okay, so if AI is creating this energy problem of historic proportions, then what in the world is the solution? Well, this is where a technology that's been bubbling under the surface for a while is now stepping right into the spotlight: small modular reactors. So what exactly is an SMR? Let's get on the same page. When you hear nuclear reactor, you're probably picturing those giant, custom-built power plants. Forget that. SMRs are different. They're smaller, and here's the key part: they're designed to be built in a factory, like a car, and then shipped to a site to be put together. Think of them like high-tech nuclear Lego blocks: modular, scalable, and way faster to build. Now, to really get the big picture here, this analogy is everything. The idea is that backing SMRs to power AI is just like investing in the electrical grid that powered all the factories during the second industrial revolution. You're not just betting on one company or one AI model. You're betting on the fundamental infrastructure that makes the entire revolution possible. So why are SMRs and AI such a perfect match? Well, there are a few huge reasons. First, they provide what's called baseload power. That means it's on 24/7, 365 days a year. It's not like solar or wind that depends on the weather. It's low carbon, which all these big tech companies need for their clean energy goals. It's a real, tangible asset. And maybe best of all, you can build them right next to the data centers that need all that power. The potential is obviously huge, but this is all just theory if no one's actually building them, right? So let's meet the key players who are in this race to get these reactors off the drawing board and into the real world. Here's a quick snapshot of the frontrunners. You've got NuScale, which has a huge head start because their design is the first one to actually be certified here in the US. Then you have companies trying all sorts of different tech. X-Energy has Amazon in its corner. TerraPower has this wild design that can store energy, almost like a nuclear battery. And Kairos Power, they've already signed a deal to sell power directly to Google. The race is definitely on. And this part is absolutely critical. This isn't just a science fair project. You have the biggest, most powerful companies in the world: Amazon, Google, literally putting their money on the line. They are signing deals, they are backing these startups. That is a massive vote of confidence that sends a signal to the entire market. The demand for this is real, and it is here now. Okay, so far, this sounds like a pretty incredible opportunity. But, and this is a really big but, no technology this disruptive comes easy. If we're going to be smart about this, we have to take a hard, clear-eyed look at the very real challenges and risks that SMRs are up against. The risks really fall into three big buckets.
First, there's going to be a shakeout. Not all of these cool designs we just looked at are going to make it. You have to pick a winner, and that's always tough. Second, there's the mountain of red tape. Getting a new nuclear reactor licensed is, as you can imagine, an incredibly long, expensive, and complicated process. And third, you can't ignore public opinion. All it takes is some local opposition to create delays that can last for years.
And let's talk about a specific technical risk that often gets glossed over, the nuclear waste paradox. Now you'd think smaller reactors means less waste, right? Well, some research suggests it's actually the opposite. Many SMR designs might produce more waste by volume for the energy they create. Because they're smaller, they can leak more neutrons, which creates at least 9 times more radioactive steel and a whole new set of problems for disposal that could be very, very expensive. So you've got this incredible potential on one hand and all these massive risks on the other. How on earth do you even begin to approach this? Well, the source material we looked at lays out a pretty clever 2-part strategy. So the playbook is this. Number 1, instead of trying to bet on which single reactor company is going to win the race, focus on the supply chain. During the gold rush, the people who really got rich were the ones selling the picks and shovels. Same idea here. And number 2, for companies in this space, the goal is to become the go-to expert, the trusted authority that can guide big money through all this complexity. So what do these picks and shovels look like? Well, think about the fuel. Most of these advanced reactors need a special kind of fuel, and a company called Centrus is the only licensed producer in the entire Western world. Or think about the companies that can forge the huge, heavy-duty parts for these reactors. And it's not just the high-tech stuff. Even the companies that make basic things like transformers and switchgear already have backlogs that are years long. This is how you can invest in the whole trend without having to pick the one winning horse. And that really brings us back to where we started. That industrial revolution analogy holds up perfectly. This new digital AI-powered revolution absolutely needs its own power grid. The demand is not up for debate. So the real question we're left with isn't if this new infrastructure gets built. It's who's going to build it and ultimately who's going to own it.